Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee if you're new here, and if you are a returning subscriber, so thank you so much for coming back. Today we're going to be talking about the level up journey, some tips that I have to unleash your inner baddie, so to speak. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, leave me a like. Remember to subscribe to my channel because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I really appreciate your being part of my community that I'm trying to create on here. I have a new ebook out. It's called Wisdom in Dark Paradise, where I share some other things that I've learned besides the things that I publish here on YouTube. I go more into depth in my personal life. I include quotes that I really enjoy, and I think it would be a really good addition to your reading and writing routine. I'm an artist, I'm a writer, I'm an English student. I'm very passionate about all of the things that I choose to put my energy into learning, so I put a big part of my heart into this book, and I hope that you guys really like it. Let me know what you think if you end up buying it, but the link will be in the description box down below. But on to today's video. One of my favorite topics personally, like when I'm on YouTube, I love watching other YouTubers talk about this. I also love reading books about it. I love just hearing anything that has to do with the concept of like leveling up. And if you're wondering like what leveling up means, basically it just means being the best version of yourself, and you know, being the most authentic, truest version of you. And then in parentheses I put unleash your inner baddie, because I do feel like when we're being authentic and when we're being, you know, the most true to ourselves, that's when our light is on, so to say, and we are really in our level up. And leveling up is a process. You know, every single day we're changing, every single day we're becoming better and better. So don't beat yourself up for not being where you want to be. That's one thing I will say about that. But yeah, leveling up, what it means to me, here are some things that I consider to be part of the level up and stuff that I've kind of like gone through myself. So step number 1 is be hydrated. One of the main things that I found in leveling up and in trying to just, you know, especially like, I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos, I am in this like very transitory stage in regards to like my, I guess you could call it like womanhood or like girlhood or whatever you want to call it. I'm definitely feeling the vibes that like I'm going to be entering a new phase of my life. Like I'm finishing school. I think we all kind of felt that after high school, going into college, like okay, we're about to enter a new time in our life, like out with the old and with the new. And I feel like I'm kind of in that phase again, where like I'm about to finish college now, about to enter whatever is next, not really sure yet, which is fine. When you are entering a new phase of your life, you want to enter it with the most pizzazz that you can, and with like the most authenticity that you can as well. So one of the things that I want to say that is important in like the leveling up journey is that you need to stop blaming others, and that is like a very crucial way that you can kind of like take control of your life again, I guess, so to speak. But yeah, like basically like stop blaming others for everything. Like don't blame others for anything that has to do with your life. Depending on your age, of course, if you're under 18 this doesn't apply to you, but if you are over 18, you know, welcome to the side of life where you have to start taking responsibility for your own actions, for your own decisions. These are some like examples of what I mean by where you can stop blaming others or where we blame other people. For example, our weight and our diet. You know, we might say that like if you live in a household and you live with other people and they don't have the healthiest foods, but you find yourself eating them and you're not where you want to be in your diet, you know, you'll blame whoever you live with that, you know, they're being a bad influence on you because they bring in all of these unhealthy foods, and like, you know, you're trying your best to be healthy, but like you can't even help yourself because the other person is just such a bad influence. Like in that case, you would need to stop blaming the other person and take responsibility for your own diet. Other people don't control what you put in your own mouth. If you don't feel good after you eat something and you're continuing to do so, you know, that is your fault. It's not the other person's fault at all. Other people don't control what you eat. They don't control your diet. People don't have to agree with your diet or your lifestyle, you know, especially like something that I've learned, and it's just literally things that I deal with as well. So I'm not like claiming to be this like very perfect person, but I'm just trying to share like some very important aspects to the level up, because you can't make any real change in your life until you start taking responsibility for your actions. And when you do that, you are taking, you know, back control of your life, and you are setting the path for yourself, and you're not just kind of like a victim to like everything that's happening to you and all the people around you. Like, stop blaming others. I've definitely been very interested in like healthy living and lifestyle and eating healthy and all of that since I was like in high school. You know, it started with me like researching being vegan and like going plant-based. I was super into veganism when I was like 17, 18 years old, and the predominant reason why was because I used to have like very terrible acne, and you know, the more that I got into like how to resolve that problem, inevitably kind of leads to, you know, your lifestyle choices and your diet, because that can play a very large role, which led me into like, okay, possibly eliminating dairy, blah blah blah. But you know, I've been passionate about health since I was very young, and you know, as I've gotten older, my diet and my certain like things that I follow for myself, for my own personal health, is still a very, very large part of my life. I'm not like a perfect eater or anything like that, but you know, I very much am still like a health-oriented person, health conscious person, because I know the effects of how much a healthy diet has helped me in my life, and you know, just like in my overall like energy levels and in my overall like sense of being. Because I know how much of an impact good health makes on my life, I naturally just want to like share what I know with everyone. And you know, there's no such thing as like a correct diet for everyone, but you know, I find myself trying to like share all of this information with other people just because I'm so passionate about it. But even though I have this awareness that there are like better choices I could be making in my diet, when I'm around certain people who don't necessarily follow those same exact things with their diet, and they eat different things that I know that I shouldn't be eating because so and so will happen, you know, I kind of get into the habit of eating that way, and then you know, the only person that I can blame in the end is myself, because they're, even if they may offer me foods and they're not doing it from an ill-intentioned place, but you know, I'm making the decision to eat what they're eating when I know that that's not the best decision that I can do for myself. So in that way, I've had to like not blame other people for my experience in weight loss, weight gain, diet, health, lifestyle, because I have to take responsibility of my own health. Nobody else is responsible for my health, and people don't have to agree with what I believe about health and diet and what I believe is the best thing for me to still follow that. So that's like a really big part of leveling up, is just not blaming others, taking responsibility for everything in your life, especially your health. Yeah, so another way that we can stop blaming other people that is probably very relatable to some, definitely relatable for me, is to like, when we're in a bad relationship, when we're in a relationship that we know is not making us happy, and you're very miserable, you are, you know, when you're in that relationship, it's like, oh, this other person is doing that, oh, you know, they're making me so unhappy, oh, this sucks, like every day sucks with this person, like I'm so unhappy, they keep doing this and making me mad and blah blah blah. But at the same time, you have to realize that you're choosing to stay in that relationship, and you have to just stop blaming the other person. Like, if you want to blame anyone, blame yourself, love. Like, you're choosing to stay with that person. Something in you believes that this is the person that is right for you. And if you don't like how they're treating you, and you know they're mistreating you, and you're choosing to stay there, you cannot blame them for being how they are. You can only really just you have to own that decision of choosing to stay with that person. And if you are true about not wanting to continue in that relationship and not wanting to be treated a certain way, and you believe in your heart that you deserve better, you will make the decision to leave that relationship. And that is one way that like we sometimes blame other people. Like in a relationship, if we're unhappy, we're blaming our partner, but the truth is that you have to kind of find that contentment within yourself first before you are ever really choosing to be involved with anybody else. And it's easier said than done, but we just in general have to stop blaming other people, especially like our romantic partner can, you know, bear the weight of our blame sometimes. Yeah, and then sometimes, you know, we're blaming our parents, like, oh, my parents raised me this way, so now I do this. And you know, you're in that way, you're kind of making an excuse for what can be inappropriate behavior, and you cannot blame your parents for how you are acting. Like, now you're grown, and it's not anybody's fault anywhere that you are in life besides you, because you have to take that responsibility for yourself. A big part of level up is just taking responsibility for how you act, how you think, what you do, what you eat, who you interact with. Like, all of these choices are ultimately in your hands once you're an adult. or like a young adult like me. We can blame our friends for being a bad influence. You know, you pick up some bad habits from your friends sometimes and we're like, oh, it's their fault, like they brought this around me, but you are the one indulging in that. So in that way we have to stop blaming others. You know, you have control over who you hang out with. You can choose to find different friends. Like ultimately we just have to start making our own decisions and owning our own decisions and not blaming other people for our problems, our insecurities, none of that. You know, taking responsibility, taking accountability, taking power back of your own life is a very big part of level up. So yeah, period. Another thing that I consider part of level up is not being afraid of being alone, not being afraid of like making your own decisions and like choosing to do different. Yeah, like not just following what people say because they say, choosing to do what you want to do. This might mean, you know, not being afraid to move somewhere new, not being afraid to go to a place like a restaurant or something that, you know, you've never been to before, and even if it's going by yourself, like just like not being afraid of our own company and being alone. Sometimes when we're scared of being alone, we find ourselves spending time with people that probably aren't the best for us just for the sake of not being alone, and that is not a good place to be. So we can kind of avoid that trap by, you know, becoming more comfortable with our own company, not being afraid of doing things on your own, like standing on your own 2 feet sometimes. And that's not to say that we always have to be so independent and like I can do it by myself like all the time, because there's an appropriateness to that kind of way of thinking and way of being. And if we go overboard with that, like hyper independence, you know, we can easily shut out people that we care about, people that we want to make connections with. So there is a balance that comes with that, but you know, not being afraid of being alone is a very big thing. Never stay somewhere just because you don't want to be alone, because that leads to a bigger question of why are you afraid of being alone? What don't you like about yourself? Like, why can't you spend time alone? That's a deeper question to journal about. Speaking of journaling, I have a journaling prompt ebook out now. It's called Wisdom in Dark Paradise. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. I'm gonna leave the link in the description down below, and it's basically like a collection of like quotes that I think have inspired wisdom within me. I wrote about some things that I gained wisdom from experience in my own life. It has like multiple journaling prompts, so if you're somebody that's into writing, into reflection, into self-development, then this is definitely the ebook for you. I'll leave a link to that down below. But yeah, it's called Wisdom in Dark Paradise. It's my first ebook. It's definitely gonna like inspire creativity within you, help you reflect on like whatever wisdom you might already have, and help you become a more eloquent writer, which I think inevitably helps you become a better speaker and just helps you in so many different areas of your life. But you know, again, I'm an English major, so maybe that is just how I think, but I'm really excited about this ebook, and you guys should go and check it out if you haven't already. And if you have checked it out and you've tried it, you tried the writing exercises that I have in there, you've, you know, read my own personal writing, and you've read the quotes that I kind of like, then I would really be interested to hear what you think of it, because this is my first like little published work, you know, so I'm also very curious to hear like genuine feedback. So I'll leave a link to that down below. Wisdom in Dark Paradise, my first ebook, a feminine journaling companion. You like that? So yeah, I'll leave that below. I hope you guys like it. But so yeah, not being afraid of being alone, practicing solitude like I mentioned in my other video on, I think, where to start with self-love. I'll leave that somewhere in the description also. Another thing about the level up journey is that you have to be brave and be okay with not having everybody like you sometimes. Like, it's okay, like you're gonna be fine. If people don't like you, you're gonna be okay. And something that I've been learning about myself is how deeply ingrained people pleasing has been for me, and it's something that I'm still working on breaking out of. But it's just like this thing of always trying to make everybody else happy, and you know, we think that when we sacrifice ourselves, and maybe we're not even aware that we're doing it, but we think that when we're people pleasing and trying to make everyone happy, that people will like us more for that. But no, the truth is that they actually with or without knowing, are slowly losing respect for you because you are not your own person and you're just letting people walk all over you. And nobody can respect you. Even if they wanted to, they cannot. Like, they physically cannot, they mentally cannot. Even if they're telling you to your face that they love you and they respect you, if you aren't treating yourself with respect by honoring your own desires, your own decisions, then that will show in a very real way. And that's something that I've learned. So have the courage to be just like, it's okay if not everybody likes you. Do what you think is best for you at all times. Don't hurt anyone in the process, but don't fall into like that people pleasing you know, imaginary framework of like what being good is. Like, live your own life and have the courage to live your own life regardless of whatever people might think. So yeah, everybody has an opinion. You can't make everybody happy. It's just the truth. So, you know, do you. People-pleasing mentality will have you trying to make everyone happy, which is impossible. And one of the subtle clues that maybe you are in this people-pleasing kind of mentality is that you feel like you have to walk on eggshells around people and you're constantly trying to like not make them upset. But it's okay to make people upset sometimes if you're being true to yourself. It's okay to remain in your integrity no matter what. It's okay. Like, I learned the hard way. It's okay. So getting rid of that people-pleasing and having the courage to show up as who you really are. And if people don't like it, that's fine. You're not for everybody, and that is a way that God protects you sometimes. So yeah. Another thing about level up journey is that your appearance matters, boo. It matters because it influences your confidence, which influences everything. It influences everything, including the way people treat you. So I'm not like, sometimes I've noticed that like when you look a certain way, like for example, you know, if I don't always look like this, like I made myself up today to look presentable, but sometimes I feel like when people talk about like your appearance mattering and like just taking care of yourself and hair and makeup and nails and all of this stuff, to some people it might sound shallow, but like I'm here to tell you, like girl to girl, woman to woman, that you, even if you personally don't care about those things and you consider them like materialistic and shallow or whatever, it is very true that people will treat you how you appear to treat yourself. So the like energetic connotation that people kind of see when you look like you took the time to take care of yourself is that they should also treat you with the respect that you're treating yourself, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying that appearance matters because being pretty matters, and like, you know, I'm not saying it in a shallow way. I'm saying it in a way that like when you take care of yourself, you gain more respect for yourself, and you also allow for other people to see you in the way that you see yourself internally and thus get treated better. You know, it is a very big difference. Yeah, I definitely think that appearance matters. I think grooming and taking care of ourselves in a health way and also like in a physical like appearance kind of way really matters in the level up journey, and it also influences your confidence. You're more likely to be confident when you step outside if you're feeling beautiful, wearing something that you really like, you know, the material's soft, your hair's done, your makeup looks good, like you're feeling good, you took care of yourself, you had a good breakfast. Like, you're more likely to have a better day just because you feel more confident and more radiant from the inside out by doing those things for yourself. And a perk is that people treat you better. You know, people like, you know, it's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. So don't neglect yourself, and you don't need $1 million to look decent. Simply just taking a few minutes every day to make yourself feel good by looking good, because I feel like those things are very closely related. So our appearance matters. Take care of how you look, take care of how you feel. And another thing that I want to mention on the leveling up journey is that your excuses become your own problems. So I heard somewhere that like if you need motivation to do something, sorry, I just burped, but I heard somewhere that like if you need motivation to do something, then you don't really want to do it. Like, you don't actually want the thing that you're claiming that you want really bad. So if you're like wanting to lose weight but you're not changing anything about your diet, you're not even working out like once a week, maybe you work out once in a blue moon, but like whatever you want to say, to other people about why you're not doing that thing, in the end it's only going to affect you, and your excuses become your own problems. And I just feel like that's very, very true. Like it goes back to the beginning of what I said, like you could only blame yourself. So yeah, your excuses become your own problems in your diet, with your health, you know, bad habits. Make an excuse for a bad habit, but in the end the compounding effect of continuing that bad habit is only going to affect you. So you know, your excuse will become your own problem in that way, in a very real way. We get in our own way with the silly excuses we make for ourselves about like our story, you know. So like if you do something that you know is probably not the best, sometimes the inclination is to be like, well, you know, this happened to me, so I'm gonna do this, or this person said that, so I do this now. Like, you know, you just kind of excuse it. You just excuse it. When we make excuses for ourselves, and this is the way that I talk to myself, so I don't mean to come off harsh, but like it's just the truth, that in the end we're getting in our own way, you know. So like if you really like doing something and you claim to like not have time for it, in the end you are not doing the thing that you really like doing, and it's only going to hurt you, you know. Like that's an excuse. You can make time for things that you want to do. Sometimes we make excuses for other people at the expense of ourselves. Staying in a bad relationship, excusing the other person, you know, maybe one day they'll change, oh but they love me, maybe one day they will change for me because they love me so much, and you know, they might be this way, but you know, then I came into the picture and they will suddenly be different. Like, we cannot make excuses for other people, and especially if it's at the cost of your own health and your own well-being. You know, eventually that has to go, and it becomes your own problem when you keep excusing things that you don't actually want in your life. Like, you have to be very honest with yourself. That became a problem for me in my past relationship as well. I was continuing to make excuses for this person when I was seeing with my own two eyes and feeling in my heart that like feeling of like constriction and essentially heartbreak and very deep sadness because I didn't like how I was being treated. And you know, that had other consequences on my self-esteem. Made me feel like I couldn't do better, made me feel like I was stuck, made me feel just very sad, you know, amongst other things. And it took a toll on my health and my mental well-being, and it just like, it totally didn't have to go that way if I just didn't make excuses over and over and over again about why this person should stay in my life. You know, eventually like you have to make the decision to like just let it go when it doesn't serve you, and that's completely fine. And if you want to hear more on that topic, go and check out my life decisions and choices video, because I go into depth about that. Another way that an excuse can kind of become your own problem is that, sorry y'all, my camera died. So why does my camera always die? Do I talk that much? Wow, it's dying again. So for example, like I do consider myself an introvert, but at the same time, like I can't just keep leaning on that as an excuse for like not going out and making friends, not being social, because in the end that will become my own problem. Like you're lonely and you don't have any friends, and like you're the victim. But it's like a big part of the leveling up journey is getting out of that victim mentality. Like, life is not happening to you, it is your life, and you have to kind of like, you know, get that shit back. So yeah, so your excuses will become your own problems. Goes back to what I was saying about, you know, taking responsibility for your decisions, for your life, and stop blaming other people, and stop blaming other, not only just people, but things for why you are not where you want to be, because we actually have more control than we tell ourselves, I think. And you take power back in your own life when you stop putting it in all of these external things and really just like come back to your true being, your true self. Like, I believe in God, my walk in my faith and my prayer life and my spiritual life, it plays a really big part in my level up. Thank you, Jesus. Another thing that comes with level up is that I believe that we just need to stop judging other people, especially like judging other women. And yeah, I can go on and on about that, but I just feel like we need to release our judgment of other people and like stop being so critical of ourselves as well, because I think the two go hand in hand. So that's a big part of the level up. And also, the last thing I will say about the level up journey is that you need to embrace your flaws. You know, self-esteem is a very, very, I'm learning that I care a lot about this topic because I've seen how I act, and well, I guess I've learned through experience, which is like which is why I'm so passionate about like wisdom and like becoming wiser. And you guys should go and copy my ebook, Wisdom in Dark Paradise, because I go into this a little bit more. But basically, like, I've learned that your self-esteem can really influence deeply the way that you live your life and the way that you allow yourself to get treated. And just, it's a whole different world when you start really working at a deep level on your self-esteem and just like becoming more confident and more just like in tune with who you really are and in your integrity and in your authenticity. So I think a part of that, part of becoming better about your self-esteem and stuff is to embrace your flaws. So for example, me, I have a certain body type. You know, we all have, like, a body image is a huge thing with women and probably with men too, but you know, I'm passionate about my girls out there. Our bodies are like, we compare ourselves to who we think is beautiful and stuff, and you know, a lot of it, yeah, is in the media and through, you know, our influences and stuff. But at the end of the day, like, nobody can decide whether or not you're beautiful besides you. And in my heart, I believe that we're all beautiful because God created us exactly who we need to be. He put us exactly where we needed to be, and our confidence and our self-image and our body image is in our own hands and in our own minds. And you know, there's no external comparison that would ever account for the unique beauty that you specifically are. The things that you don't like about yourself, somebody else might look at you and be like, wow, I really like that about this girl. Like, for example, when I was growing up, and I still, like, I've become better about my self-image because most of the things that I was insecure about, I can literally just go to the gym and fix that and I'm fine. But like, one of the big things that I was really insecure about when I was growing up, besides my acne was like a very big thing, was my weight, and specifically like my legs. Like, I never thought my legs were thin enough. Like, I was very much in that toxic kind of energy of like, make thighs thinner, like online, just being like very obsessive and unhealthy about it. There's a healthy way to go about creating a better body image, and there is a negative way, and I was definitely in the negative way of doing that in like my high school, I guess. And you know, I was like very obsessed with like making my thighs thinner and stuff. And the funny thing was that everybody would always look at me and look at my legs specifically. Like, the one thing that I really didn't like about my body, people would compliment me on, and they would say, wow, like, I love your legs. Like, I would put a picture on Instagram, people would be like, legs, when in my mind, in my heart, I'm like, damn, I hate my legs. Like, so it just goes to show you that. And now, you know, I'm very much more confident with my body. I'm very much more about health and not about like, and I'm not in that weird kind of low self-esteem, wanting to, just hating myself, not all the time at least, but like that's a very good example of like how it can become toxic when you have a lower self-esteem, because like, you, in your mind, you want to look like this other person. Like, I'm looking at supermodels and like, you know, just unrealistic. Like, I have a certain body type, you know, and I had to learn to love my body, and I believe that you can too. So that was my summary of that point. But basically, like, embracing your flaws, loving yourself, flaws and all, working on the things that you can work on to change about yourself in a healthy way if you would like to, and accepting the things that you can't, and considering that those actually might be the most beautiful things about you in someone else's eyes, and eventually in your own eyes if you choose to look at yourself in that way. So yeah, this is basically like my introduction to leveling up and some things that I kind of incorporated into my life to like be on my level up journey. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more like this. And yeah, follow these tips and unleash your inner Baddie, because I know that it's in there. I'm slowly bringing her out of myself, and I'll keep you guys updated on my personal journey, but these are just some things that I really think have helped me. And you know, I'll share more about my personal story and about my life experiences. when I feel comfortable enough to share certain things. But just believe me when I say that the level up is very real, and a lot of it is mental, I'll say that, and emotional, like emotional processing and stuff like that. And like your mental health is very important. How did I forget that? Like your mental health has to be at the core of like your level up journey and taking care of that. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, leave me a like. My name is Renee, and I enjoyed making this video for you guys. Please go and cop my ebook if you haven't already. It's called Wisdom in Dark Paradise. I include a lot of my favorite quotes. I have my own personal writing about lessons that I've learned at this ripe age of 23. I have a lot of journaling prompts, so it's an interactive kind of book, so it can help encourage self-reflection and stuff. And I think that it would be a very good addition to your reading routine and your writing routine. As you guys know, I'm an artist, I make music, I'm an English major, I love reading and writing, and this is just really my passion and where all of my enthusiasm lies. So I put my heart into this ebook, and I hope that you like it if you go and buy it. I'll leave that link in the bio. Wisdom in Dark Paradise by Renee, a feminine journaling companion. Yes, you heard that right. So let me know what you think if you end up buying that and trying out the journaling prompts. Like, did you learn anything about yourself? Let me know. But yeah, I will see you guys for another video sometime soon. Let me know what topics you'd want me to talk about. Thank you so much for watching another video. Bye!